Borderline personality disorder or simply BPD, is characterized by intense emotional instability, a persistent pattern of feelings of emptiness, and extreme difficulty in establishing stable relationships. Imagine living in a constant state of alertness, as if your emotions were always on the verge of overflowing, from sudden euphoria to deep sadness or intense anger. This isn't something easily controlled. People living with BPD aren't seeking attention or being dramatic, they're trying to survive their own emotions. Borderline personality disorder or simply BPD, is characterized by intense emotional instability, a persistent pattern of feelings of emptiness, and extreme difficulty in establishing stable relationships. Imagine living in a constant state of alertness, as if your emotions were always on the verge of overflowing, from sudden euphoria to deep sadness or intense anger. This isn't something easily controlled. People living with BPD aren't seeking attention or being dramatic, they're trying to survive their own emotions. One of the most challenging aspects of BPD is how it affects relationships. Emotional instability leads to an intense fear of abandonment, which can result in disproportionate reactions to everyday situations, like a delay or an unanswered message. For someone with BPD, the fear of rejection often becomes so overwhelming that it creates a cycle. In desperately trying to avoid abandonment, they may end up pushing people away. But it's important to remember that, despite all the pain, there are no villains here. People with BPD often have a remarkable capacity for empathy and love intensely, precisely because of the depth with which they feel everything. This intensity can become an incredible strength when channeled positively. Therapies such as dialectical behavior therapy, DBT, have shown promising results, helping individuals develop skills to better manage their emotions and resist acting on impulses. It's crucial to understand that BPD is not a label that defines a whole person. Behind the crises and out-of-control emotions are human beings who just want to be understood, who are striving to find stability, and who, like anyone else, desire connection and a sense of belonging. Therefore, support from family, friends, and mental health professionals is indispensable. Another significant aspect of BPD is the role of traumatic experiences and environment in its development. Many people with BPD have a history of childhood trauma, such as physical or emotional abuse or neglect. These experiences can contribute to difficulties in regulating emotions and the development of dysfunctional behavior patterns. The emotional pain they carry is real, and often the defense mechanisms they develop are ways to cope with that pain, even if those mechanisms are harmful in the long run. Self-care and finding healthy coping strategies are fundamental for those living with BPD. Practices like meditation, physical exercise, and artistic activities can help alleviate stress and bring some balance. Additionally, building a support network that includes friends and family willing to understand and offer support is extremely important. Often, simply having someone willing to listen without judgment can make all the difference. It's also essential to discuss the treatments available. As mentioned, dialectical behavior therapy is one of the most effective approaches. It was specifically developed to help people with BPD find ways to regulate their emotions, improve relationships, and reduce self-destructive behaviors. This therapy teaches skills such as distress tolerance, emotional regulation, and effective communication. Additionally, in some cases, medications may be prescribed to help manage specific symptoms, such as depression, anxiety, or impulsivity. However, it's important to note that medications are not a standalone solution and should be combined with therapy for better results. A point worth highlighting is the issue of stigma. The stigma surrounding borderline personality disorder is still significant, both in society and, unfortunately, in some medical settings. Many people with BPD report being misunderstood or even judged by healthcare professionals. This makes it even harder for them to seek help and feel welcomed. It's crucial that we work to combat this stigma by promoting greater knowledge and empathy regarding personality disorders. Everyone deserves to be treated with respect and dignity, regardless of their mental health condition. Let's talk a bit more about what it's like to live with BPD on a daily basis. Imagine waking up in the morning and, before even getting out of bed, feeling a flood of different emotions. Perhaps it's deep sadness for no apparent reason, or anger triggered by a past memory, or even a sense of emptiness that feels impossible to fill. Throughout the day, these feelings can change drastically, influenced by small things like a conversation, a glance, or even a memory that appears out of nowhere. This instability makes every day a real battle, and that's why many people with BPD feel like they're always on the verge of an emotional breakdown. But there are also moments of light. People with BPD often have an incredible capacity to feel joy and connection, even if these moments are brief. They can be extremely dedicated and passionate about what they do, and this passion can be channeled into positive things. It's important to recognize and value these moments of positivity because they are an essential part of the recovery journey. Celebrating small victories, such as managing a difficult situation without acting on impulse, is crucial for progress. For those living with someone who has BPD, it's important to try to understand that seemingly irrational or exaggerated behaviors are not conscious choices. Often, they are automatic reactions, the result of years of emotional and defensive patterns. Patience and empathy are essential. Of course, no one should accept abuse or harmful behaviors, but understanding what lies behind these reactions can help find healthier ways to handle conflicts and strengthen the relationship. It's also important to mention the role of psychoeducation. Learning about borderline personality disorder can be empowering for both those with the disorder and their families and friends. When we understand what's happening, it becomes easier to recognize the signs of an impending crisis and apply techniques that can help de-escalate it. Psychoeducation is a vital part of treatment and can be done with the help of a therapist, creating an environment of greater understanding and support. Another aspect often present in BPD is self-harm and self-destructive behaviors. For many people, these behaviors are a way of relieving emotional pain or feeling in control when everything else seems chaotic. It's an attempt to cope with emotions that feel unbearable. Here, once again, judgment is not the answer, support is. Self-harm is not a cry for attention, it's a sign of deep suffering. Seeking professional help is essential to finding healthier ways to cope with this pain. Living a fulfilling life with borderline personality disorder is possible. While there is no definitive cure, many people manage to achieve significant emotional stability and build healthy relationships. This requires effort, therapy, support, and, above all, a willingness not to give up. Every step toward recovery, no matter how small, is a victory. If you or someone you know is facing this challenge, know that there are resources and possibilities for a more balanced life. Seeking help is an act of courage. You are not alone. If you enjoyed this video and think it can help more people understand borderline personality disorder, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and share it. And if you want to dive deeper into more mental health topics, I recommend watching our next video, which is appearing here on the screen. Take care, and look after your mental health.